What's up, guys? Jordan here from Show Me Vegas with another episode. Hey, it's been a couple of weeks, so let's get you caught up with what happened this week in Vegas. Alright, one of the top stories that happened this week in Vegas was that the Palms is reopened finally after more than 2 years of being closed. Now, the Palms closed back in 2020 when COVID shut down the entire city, and it never reopened. The Palms was owned by Station Casinos, or their parent company, Red Rock Resorts. They decided not to reopen it when the Strip opened back in June of 2020. Later, they decided to sell the property, and they eventually sold the property to the San Manuel Band of Mission Indians out of California, making the Palms, now that it's reopened, the first fully owned and operated tribal casino in Las Vegas. Now, you might be thinking, wait a minute, isn't there already a tribal casino in Las Vegas? There is. It's at Virgin Hotels. However, that's not actually owned by the tribe. That casino is being operated by Mohegan Sun, which is a tribal entity out of the East Coast. However, they don't own the property. They're simply leasing the casino rights from the owner of the property, which is Virgin Hotels. Now, I was there live streaming whenever the hotel opened to the public for the first time at 9 p.m. on Wednesday night. You can go back and watch a replay of that live stream, but I had a great time. It lasted for about 3.5 hours. The festivities included a ceremony in the afternoon for VIPs only, as well as VIP access throughout the day. Now, like I said, it was open to the general public at 9 p.m., and I was in line outside with the live stream going. I followed the drum line right into the casino just like this. Immediately ran into some of the who's who of YouTube. I'm sure you recognize some of these guys. Of course, a good friend of the channel, Travel Ruby, was there, and we got to hang out just a little bit on the live stream. Now, I was one of the few live streamers, I think, that made it all the way to the fireworks. The fireworks were set to go at about 10:40 p.m. However, it was extremely windy that night, and I think the fire marshal had some issues with the original schedule, so they kept pushing it back, pushing it back. Eventually, the fireworks went off about an hour late, and they were worth the wait. Thank you to all who watched the live stream and commented along the way. We had a great turnout on that live stream and greatly appreciate all the new subscribers we picked up during that time. Now, I did wind up staying at the Palms on the second night. Actually, the first night was for VIPs only. General bookings didn't begin until Thursday night, so I checked in on Thursday and stayed in a standard king room in the Ivory Tower. You can check out that video here on the channel. I live streamed a room tour of that room. Now, the rooms are not all brand new because the previous owners, Red Rock Resorts, actually had just completed a $600 million plus renovation of the property not long before COVID shut the property down. So the new owners, the San Manuel tribe, didn't necessarily have to do a lot to the rooms. They did do quite a bit of work to the casino and the back of house areas, but the rooms themselves had been recently updated. Go back and check out that video if you'd like to see what the rooms look like at the Palms. I also had a chance to eat at their newly reopened Ace Buffet. That opened on Thursday, and I was there for dinner just as soon as they opened at 4 o'clock on Thursday. I did put a video out on that buffet. It's on the channel. Go check that one out as well if you're interested in a pretty good value buffet for dinner. It was $36.99 for dinner. I thought the selection was great. I mentioned in that video, I think that buffet was on par with the Aria buffet, which closed due to COVID and has never reopened. So if you were a fan of that one, check out that video and maybe go give the Palms a try. Now, of course, the other big news in Las Vegas this week was that the NFL Draft was conducted in Las Vegas for the first time. The draft was held on the Strip and behind the Link Promenade at the Caesars Forum from Thursday through Saturday. Of course, the draft has become the NFL's biggest party. It gets seemingly bigger every year. Now, official numbers aren't out just yet, but tourism officials in Las Vegas were expecting as many people as what turned out in Nashville in 2019 for that draft, which was, for the entire event, approximately 600,000 guests. So it remains to be seen whether the turnout was that big. If you've seen pictures of what it looked like, it was insane. They had the Las Vegas Strip shut down for a portion in front of the Bellagio. Then they had a portion of Flamingo Road shut down, basically connecting the red carpet stage on the Bellagio fountains to the actual draft headquarters over behind the Link Promenade, right behind the High Roller. If you see some pictures, and I'll put some pictures up of the crowd, it was insane, so I wouldn't be surprised if that turnout was every bit as big as anything the NFL Draft has seen before. Now, speaking of shutting down the Strip for that event, that prompted one of the Clark County commissioners to come up with what I think is a horrible idea, but he floated the idea of permanently closing part of the Las Vegas Strip. This idea was put out there by Clark County Commissioner Tick Segerblum. His name is actually Tick, believe it or not. Now, his logic was it's great for people to be able to walk between the properties easily and freely, kind of the way you can do downtown, only without the canopy on Fremont Street. He floated the idea of, if not permanently closing part of the Las Vegas Strip, at least doing it more often. Now, personally, I think it's a terrible idea because it's a traffic nightmare. I mean, pretty much every hotel along the Strip has an entrance to the main porte cochere off of Las Vegas Boulevard, and reconfiguring the traffic patterns to get to some of those huge resorts would be an absolute nightmare if they tried to ever permanently close down at least a portion of the Strip. So I don't think that's going to go anywhere. He also admitted that with F1 coming to the city in 2023 for a 3-year contract, there's no way they could ever turn it into, say, green space. But he did think that it might be a good idea to do this more often, and I'm going to have to disagree with that. What's your opinion on this? Comment down below. We love interacting with you guys in the comments. Do you think the Las Vegas Strip should ever be shut down permanently, or do you think it should be shut down more often than it is for pedestrian traffic? Let us know in the comments. Now, speaking of sports in Las Vegas, this year will mark the first time that no playoff hockey will be played at T-Mobile Arena. The Vegas Golden Knights, in their 5th season in existence, just missed the playoffs for the first time. Certainly didn't have a bad team this year, but they dealt with a lot of injuries and came up just short of the last playoff spot in the Western Conference. So unfortunately, T-Mobile Arena is going to have a little bit of extra space in the schedule this spring. But as a Golden Knights fan, I'm optimistic with the core of players they still have, and the emergence of rookie goaltender Logan Thompson. I still think the team is set up for continued success in the future. I just have a feeling they'll be back in the playoffs next year. Now, another big news in Las Vegas this past week, some tourism numbers for March are out, and they prove what we've been seeing in Las Vegas recently, and that's that Las Vegas is almost totally back. Now, not long after the pandemic shut down Las Vegas, there were so many people saying Las Vegas would never be the same. Well, it almost is the same already, and we haven't even made it 2 years beyond the reopening. Some of the March tourism indicators already prove that. Visitor volume in March 2022 was 3.335 million visitors. That's up more than 1 million from March of last year. That's a 49.5% increase. The citywide hotel occupancy rate in March was 80.6%. That's up 25 points from last year. Room nights occupied is up more than 1.2 million or 50%. Convention attendance, this is a big one. Conventions are starting to come back to Las Vegas. Last March 2021, there were only 30,700 visitors in town for conventions. And this March 2022, there were 494,200. Here's the big one, the average daily room rate. Now, you might have noticed that hotel rates are significantly higher in Las Vegas than they seemingly ever have been. And this is really proven in these statistics here. The average daily room rate in March 2022 was $163.14. 1 year earlier, that was only $100.11. So the average room rate in Las Vegas in the past year has climbed 63%. If that doesn't indicate huge demand, I don't know what does. 4,272,000 people arrived by air compared to just 2,576,000 a year prior. That's an increase of nearly 66%. And of course, Clark County gaming revenue, once again, shattering records. $1,179 million. That's a 31.7% increase over a year ago. So obviously business is still booming in Las Vegas, and it continues to ramp up. Barring any changes, we're going to see, I would say, Vegas as usual as early as this summer. Finally, this week in Las Vegas, an update on a story that has been on this vlog numerous times, and that's that the Oakland A's continue to show interest in the Tropicana site. Now, originally the A's showed interest in about 5 different sites in Las Vegas, 2 of which are apparently now the finalists. Now, it's a little bit murky here because this property is currently owned by Gaming and Leisure Properties, and that's a spinoff of Penn National Gaming. Penn National Gaming owned it and operated it, and then they spun the real estate off into their own company. That company then has contracted to sell the Tropicana to Bally's Corporation, which is not affiliated with Bally's on the Strip currently. It's a different company altogether. Now, they're actually going to be buying the Tropicana. However, if the Oakland A's are actually interested in this site, something might change with that deal, and it might actually get sold to the Oakland Athletics, or the sale may go through and then a long-term land lease might be executed with the Athletics so that they can build a $1 billion stadium on the site and a lot of other development around it. Now, personally, I love the site. I think that would be great. I know it's going to cause a lot of traffic problems, but I think the visual of having a stadium right on the Strip, Major League Baseball right on the Strip, would be a really cool addition to the Las Vegas Strip. It is far enough south that perhaps some traffic concerns can be alleviated with some, additional parking structures built down there and that sort of thing. But from the other standpoint, the Tropicana is tired. I walked in there on a live stream on last Monday night, and gosh, it's just as tired as ever. It was not particularly busy. It's got a small gaming floor. The rooms, from everything I've seen, are not impressive at all. It's probably the most forgotten about hotel on the Las Vegas Strip. I know it's sad to continue to see Las Vegas history erased, but I think that the Tropicana has fallen so far in the last couple of decades, I don't think it would be missed too badly. It can't continue in its current state, and I don't even think the current hotel towers could even be salvaged if somebody wanted to redevelop this into another casino. I think they would probably tear it down and start from scratch anyway. So while we're at it, we may as well have a Major League Baseball park there. Anyway, that's it for this episode, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. Again, I was in Las Vegas last week. It was a solo trip for myself. I did stay at the Palms. I also stayed at Luxor. I've got a lot of footage, and I've got a lot of videos coming out about that trip and about the Palms. So keep an eye out for those soon. If you're not subscribed, please subscribe to the channel. Also, like this video. But until the next episode, thanks for watching, guys, and we'll see you next time.